Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Spring Porter with Spring Solutions LLC. In this video, I am going over payouts received. One is coming from a student of mine. I covered her briefly in the previous video that I did. This is her second check that she received. The first one came in an EFT form, and this one actually came in a paper check. So I'm going to just showcase that. Then also I wanted to just show you one of the deals that I spoke about previously. I finally got the EFT from that one, and this one comes from the Northern District of Georgia. So if you're interested in seeing and hearing about these things, please stay tuned. Please note that I am not an attorney. This information is not indicated as legal advice. So happy holidays to everyone out there. I hope you are having a great time with your family. Even though it's raining where I am, we were expecting snow. You're still able to get some work done. Make sure that you're double checking with the courts to see when they're closures and when they're opening. Some of them may have inclement weather, and now all of that information will be on their website just in case you needed to call them. Some may be mobile and working from home, some may be in the office. So just make sure you're double checking the websites and calling the clerk if you need to. So this student of mine, as I mentioned in the previous video, if you have not seen it, please take a look somewhere. I will post the link to that video. She's new. She has not had an LLC formed yet. She is in the process of doing that. So whether you are doing this as an individual or you're doing it as a business, the courts and the bankruptcy courts don't really specify. They don't care. It's just making sure that you have the proper documentation, whether you are an individual or an LLC formed. You have to just make sure you submit the proper documentation, and she was able to do that. And I always say that you probably should have an LLC because I think it may help you with marketing yourself. If you're doing direct marketing to the general public, it may help you. But as you can see, it's not always the case. It just depends on you, your needs, your financial needs, like what you're able to do. If you wanted to get a few deals under your belt first and then add the LLC later, that's totally up to you. But at any rate, this student was still able to get checks sent to her, and she was able to get an EFT payment without having an LLC formed. But again, she had the proper steps. She followed the course. She asked the right questions. This particular deal comes from the Southern District of California. She did mention that they work extremely fast, which is nice. Another thing about this deal is it was a creditor situation. So she was able to read the docket properly, which I do show you how to do in the course, where either the debtor could be getting money back or the creditor could be getting money back. You want to make sure that you're reaching out to the right people. I recommend don't calling anyone yet unless you know for sure who's getting the money back. Don't call and think. You can always ask me. That's why I'm here. Email me and say, hey, is this the right person who's getting the funds back? I don't want you to assume that you think that that is the correct person unless you're absolutely certain you see the documents that say that individual is getting the money back. I just want to put that out there. I do cover that in the program, but just make sure that you're reaching out to the right person. This student was able to reach out to the right person. And she got the check sent to her. So the 15th of November, she actually filed in the application with the court. And then right here on the 16th, so the very next day, the order was entered. And it says it right here on the order. Some districts take a little bit longer to process. This is a district that takes no time at all. Because again, she had the proper documentation. There were no deficiencies. There were no objections at all. I don't even think they had a timeline for an objection deadline for anyone to object. So very interesting. Again, every district follows their own local rules. It was filed in on the 15th right here. The order says she did all the documents that she was supposed to submit. On the 16th, you see a seal with the judge's signature saying that the funds go to her. The amount is for $7,279.08. That's the same amount that you see on this actual check. My student is in California. I can't, show all of her details and information or her name, but I did want to just put San Diego because that is where she's living. So again, you could be East Coast, West Coast, Mid-Coast. Midwest. It does not matter exactly where you're located, just so as long as you're following the rules in the district where the case is filed, and you don't have any deficiencies, it will work for you. Her takeaway is $2,000. So she now is tasked with taking out her portion out of this check, and then she's sending it to her client. Again, the client is a creditor. So again, it pays to really understand how to read the court docket, make sure that you're asking the right questions if you don't understand it, because there are some districts that will word things slightly different. So just make sure that you're using me as a resource. Try to do your homework first, and if you don't understand then of course you can always email me for clarity. I'm happy to help you. So one thing I wanted to mention again, so from the 15th of November, the 16th, the very next day, the order was entered, and then the 12th, or I'm sorry, December the 8th is when the actual check was cut, and you can see it right here. And again, these checks are coming from the U.S. Treasury Department. It is the holiday time. Again, this came right before Thanksgiving. Her order was approved, and then even before Christmas, she was able to get the actual check sent to her, which is great. So I'm really proud of her. Again, her takeaway was about $3,500 for the 2 deals that she received. This is her first go at this. So again, it is possible. How much you make and what percentage you charge, what deals you go after, all that's up to you. Again, I have to keep reiterating that. It's all up to you and what you're able to do. How much time and energy are you able to put into doing this? All right, so this is my student's deal. I sent her an email asking maybe if she could do like a talk over. We'll see. Some people, again, are a little bit shy in having their face and their information out there, and that's understandable. But we'll see. I will follow up on that maybe in a few days. But I'll just cover this portion for her. Again, everything has been redacted. So again, keep in mind you need to redact information that is personal to your clients. If you're uploading this information like on websites and things like that, please make sure you're redacting. All right, so I'm going to cover my deal now. Thanks. Hi everyone, again, in this video I'm going over the Northern District of Georgia. So I went over this deal briefly maybe a few weeks ago or maybe a few videos ago. I'm going to post a link if you haven't seen it, and I covered this district. I did use this example because they have changed their processing a little bit for the Northern District of Georgia. So I used this example in the online course so that you can see what you're going to need if you're going to work in this district. Again, they typically work pretty fast in the Northern District of Georgia. They do give you an EFT payment, which is nice. But I had a small hang up on the information that I submitted to the court, because here's what can happen. You may find information on the instructions on the website, and you're assuming that that is the most accurate information. But sometimes the clerk may change the processing. The main clerk of that area can change the processing, or it may come from the judge and how they're doing things. And maybe the last thing to get updated is the actual instructions for the general public. So I think that might have been a situation that happened to me here. I submitted everything the way that I used to do and the way that I did it before when I got another deal in this district. I didn't have to do this step. But at any rate, it was fixed, it was cured. And even with the deficiency notice, I was still able to get everything signed, and the funds came directly to my business checking account. So I just wanted to let you know, make sure you're always watching the court docket when you file something in, checking to see if there are deficiencies and if you can cure them in time. Make sure you're reaching out to the clerk and see if you can submit that information via email as opposed to sending it in the mail. That will cut you back some time. Also, don't wait for the clerks to give you an update. You can update yourself. Go on, Pacer, go on the court docket and see what any entries that were after your application so that you can see, hey, what's missing? What do I need to do? Or maybe nothing has happened and you're just waiting. That is still a status update. You're just waiting on, a judge's signature. That's fine. Just make sure you're staying on top of it is what I mean. All right, so this particular case, again, it's from 2017. September the 22nd is when I filed everything in. Again, I got a deficiency. I would have gotten the funds sooner, but we had Thanksgiving last month. So November the 9th is when the judge actually signed the order. And then I didn't get the EFT until December the 8th, which is still nice. My client was happy to get these funds. He's an older gentleman, Christmas time. He was needing the money. $900 is what my takeaway was. So this district is not terribly hard. Just make sure you are reviewing the updated information in the course for this program so that you can make sure you have what you need and then you don't get any deficiency notices as well. So there you have it. You have the payout from my student. Again, hers came in a form of a check, and then you see mine came in a form of an EFT, but both went to us. And here my student, again, doesn't have an LLC, but the funds still went to her. And her first deal, again, she did get an EFT directly to her account, even though she didn't have an LLC for these funds. So again, as long as you're filing the paperwork in properly, LLC or not, you can still do this. And again, the courts don't require you. This is not state funds. These are not state funds. So there are certain requirements that you need for state funds that you don't necessarily need for bankruptcy. And I've said that a lot. And I'll probably have to say it again because there's some people that are not watching this. Maybe they're catching this for the first time. That's totally fine. This is not a popular thing to do. So that's really all that I wanted to say about this. Just keep note also, if you're interested in getting the program, if you have questions, email me at springsolutionsllc@gmail.com. I will answer your questions. Please also make sure that you know that I am going to be changing the course prices. So the prices will stay as they are for another, 2 weeks or so, the end of the month. And then come January 1, they will go up. So the $500 program come January 1 will be $750. The $250 BK Hack course will now be $375 come January. And then the state unclaimed fund guide will be $300. So I will post a video to a link to that video that I went over the breakdown of the new prices, just in case if you are interested in still this information, you can get it at the discounted price or at the regular price for right now. But again, come January, they will change. So again, if you have any questions, please email me, springsolutionsllc@gmail.com. Happy holidays to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.